Hey peeps, welcome back to my channel. My name is Drusilla Shay, if you don't know already. And today we are going to be talking about hair. I'm going to be getting into how to take care of natural hair in the winter. If you are in any place that gets really cold, like the East Coast, then you probably would have noticed that your hair is probably getting a little bit drier because the air is just more brisk. A lot of the moisture from my hair is just being sucked away, and if you are experiencing dryness, you are not alone. Don't fret, okay? I have come to share my tips so that we don't have to have dry and crusty hair in the winter, okay? We could be moisturized year round. So before we get into it, I just want to shout out SheaMoisture for sponsoring this video. Now we can get right into it. When it comes to taking care of hair in the winter, especially if you have thicker hair or coily hair, it would be a good idea to try products that are a little bit more heavier. For me, I tend to lean toward lighter products in the summertime because I sweat out my hair a lot. The air is moist, okay? So there's really no need to go in the summertime, but in the winter time, things are different. And so that means that there also has to be a difference in our hair care products. And so if you are experiencing dryness, it might mean that the products that took you through the spring and the summer just may not be cutting it for the winter time. I definitely use heavier hair products in the winter time because I'm trying to pack on that moisture, and that leads me to this SheaMoisture coconut and hibiscus line. I love this line so much because not only does it smell good, okay, but also it is very good for taking care of dry hair. When it comes to the shampoo, it is sulfate free, it cleanses, and it is formulated with soap protein, neem, and coconut oils, and fair trade shea butter. I really love when I shampoo my hair and it does not feel dried out. It does not feel like all the moisture has been sucked out, and that is exactly what this shampoo avoids. So I really love that it does not dry out my hair, and so I get to experience clean hair but also moisturized hair. When it comes to their curl and shine conditioner, it restores moisture and smooths dry hair. It is nutrient rich with butters and oils that condition hair without weighing it down. So something that I really deal with in the winter time if I'm struggling with dryness, it's also frizz, because that tends to, you know, be its partner. You know, dryness, frizz, they kind of like go together. So what I really like about this conditioner is that it just brings my curls back. It brings the definition back. It just brings that juiciness back. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm saying. Them juicy curls. And so we restoring the curls, okay? We restoring. And lastly, the curl enhancing smoothie is also blended with silk protein, neem oil, and coconut oil, and it helps to define curls, restore moisture. Okay, let me say that again. Restore moisture, reduce frizz, and create shine. Curl enhancing smoothie. Now, if you don't know about the curl enhancing smoothie, where you been? Let's just hone in on the smoothie part. That just tells you right away. We talking richer. Okay, so when we talking about the curl enhancing smoothie, just know it's gonna come with the rich ingredients, and I love it. It always helps to define my curls, reduce frizz, and it brings that moisture back, and it's definitely what I need, especially in the dry winter air. Okay, so moving on to my second tip, which is kind of similar to my first tip, but like also a little bit different. When it comes to taking care of hair in the winter time, you want to make sure you establish an actual wintertime hair care routine that is different from the other seasons. Now, I know that I already mentioned switching out products, but it doesn't only have to do with switching out products. This can also have to do with the amount of times that you put treatments in your hair, the amount of times that you deep condition, the amount of times that you add products or wash, because that is also going to have to probably change when it comes to the change in the season. So for example, if you deep condition your hair once in a while when it comes to the summertime, you may end up deep conditioning a little bit more in the winter if you're experiencing more dryness. Just make sure that you establish a routine that works with the season so that your hair is actually getting what it needs in that time period. Tip number 3, it's my favorite, and I am very much due for one. Protective styles. It is a great idea to put your hair away as much as you can in the wintertime. hold on, let me just clarify, okay? I'm not saying that you cannot wear your hair out in the winter or that you should not wear your hair out in the winter, but I find that the more that I wear my hair out, especially in its natural state, the more that I just have to deal with dryness and always having to add extra products in my hair versus when I have it in twists or when I have it in braids. And so there's a drastic difference with that. So when it comes to the winter time, it will probably be a good idea to put your hair in a protective style, because then your hair isn't constantly always like fully out and exposed to the cold, dry air. Also in the winter time, we probably tend to wear more hats and, you know, things that come in contact with our hair, which can definitely really dry our hair out even more. And so protective styles are the go-to. Okay, it's braid season. I'm so ready for my braids. I know it's also silk press season, but like silk presses, we only keep that for like 2 weeks, okay? Then we put our hair back away. Just know y'all gonna catch me in my protective style real soon. Tip number 4, this is not the time, ladies and gents, to be letting your hair go. This is the time to be adamant about trims and treatments for your hair. When it comes to trims, as I've said in a lot of different videos, I cannot tell you how often to get a trim because everybody needs a trim at different times. You may not need a trim as often as I need a trim. I personally need a trim every like 3.5 to 4.5 months-ish, around that time frame. There are also people who only get a trim like twice a year. You would have to monitor your hair, monitor your ends, see if they're fuzzy and puffy, see if you're getting those, you know, fairy knots or those tangled knots at the end. So it's really important to make sure, although your hair might be in a protective style, this is not the time to just like let it go. And especially if your hair is out, definitely not the time to just let it get all dry and crusty. It's time to really pay attention to your hair and keep up with the treatments. This is maintenance, all right? So we're not only talking trims, okay? We're talking other things like putting your hair away in a bonnet. Do not go to sleep with nothing on your head unless you are sleeping on a silk and satin pillowcase and silk and satin sheets. Other than that, I don't really see an excuse. I don't see a justification. Okay, I don't see why. Also, again, keeping up with things like treatment. So if you feel like your hair probably needs moisturizing treatments more often, this is a time, you know, if you need to get a schedule going, get a schedule going. But this is the time to start implementing it so that our hair isn't all frail and weak and dry and breaking and crusty by the end of the season. Last but not least, okay, this last of my tips, but I know that there's more tips out there. But for my tips, I would say that it is really important to seal your hair during these dry times. It's really vital to lock in that moisture after you have put that moisture into your hair, or else it can like easily escape. We trying to retain the moisture for as long as possible. And so it would be a really good idea after you have put in your moisturizing products to seal your hair. There are many oils that are sealants for our hair, and it will just really be a good idea to make sure that we're keeping that moisture in for longer, because the less that we keep it in, the more that we're going to have to add more products, the more maintenance that is required. And so let's seal it up so that we can make sure our hair is flourishing for longer. Alrighty peeps, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, these are not all the tips. These are not all the things you can do to help with taking care of natural hair in the winter. Also, you have to do what works for you at the end of the day. So maybe I may have said something that doesn't work for you, and that's fine. You can take it or leave it. But this is what works for me, and this is something that I see very common with other naturals. So I'm just sharing the love, okay? Sharing the info, and I hope that it was helpful for someone out there. And if it was, please go ahead and share it. And I want to know down below what other tips you may have in terms of maintaining natural hair and just making sure that it flourishes in the winter time. And while you're at it, please go ahead and venture off to the subscribe button area. You know, just click it real quick. Join the family, and while you're at it, please go ahead and turn on that bell notification button so that anytime I post, you will be notified. Thank you once again, SheaMoisture, for sponsoring this video. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys in my next video next Sunday. Deuces.